Today we have everyone's favourite hitchhiking robot, Hitchbot. Oh, look how cute he is with his little smile. Now you're probably wondering why I'm making a video on this topic. Well, something clearly happened to make it newsworthy, which means that we're making a video, and if I told you now, it would ruin the ending. So stick around and we'll find out what Hitchbot is. Hello! Welcome to Brain Spill, the laziest show on the internet. My name is Tank, and I know you have many questions right now. Who is Hitchbot? What is Hitchbot? Why did you pick this topic? Well, he is a Canadian creation by professors and inventors David Harris Smith and Frog Zeller, with the sole purpose of, well, hitchhiking. You know that thing you do when you need to get from point A to point B, where you decide to roll the dice with strangers to see if anyone is willing to give our robotic friend a hand hitchhiking around the world. The professors originally wanted to do this experiment to truly test how far humans could work with robots. But something else stemmed from this, and it was more so, can a robot trust a human? So, if this really was an issue, why didn't he just walk everywhere? Well, Hitchbot's inventors made him so he couldn't walk. Although his creators had left him crippled, he was thankfully given some basic functions to communicate with passers-by, and he was able to initiate basic conversations, the perfect travel companion. Provided that he wasn't programmed to judge me on my driving, of course. Now, to ensure that Hitchbot could be transported and carried around easily, he was strapped to a child seat and just left at the side of the road for people to come along and pick him up. And of course, with his big smiley face, he was inviting passers-by to look around to see what this curious robot was all about. This was all done as a social experiment to see if people would truly go out of their way to help out a robot during these trying times. To make sure that the team could track where Hitchbot was at all times, he was fitted with a GPS tracker to ensure that they could plot his route to see where he was being taken and how far along he was on his hitchhiking adventure. Nobody's quite sure how the robot is powered, but people suspect it was either via solar power or perhaps a manually charged inside a cigarette lighter of the car. Either way, he had a way to get juiced up for those long car journeys. He even had a small camera fitted, so he could periodically take photographs of his journey. As I'm sure that is plenty of Instagram content. Not quite sure if it's as good as mine, however. Plugging. With his circuitry ready, Hitchbot was ready to set off on his grand adventure, and we will wait and see if humanity would truly help a robot in need, and if they could work side by side to get him to where he needed to be. And of course, there can be absolutely nothing that could go wrong with this experiment. Absolutely nothing whatsoever. His first trip was across Canada on the 27th of July 2014. He set off from the Institute of Applied Creativity in Nova Scotia, making his way across the country to get to British Columbia. It wasn't just the researchers that could track Hitchbot, however, the public could do as well, and they could see where he was on his journey across the country. So, he was off, and the team was keeping track of Hitchbot every step of the way. Sometimes when people would pick him up, they would give him a lift, take him a certain distance, and then drop him off for someone else to come along and take him another leg of the journey. What would sometimes happen is someone might pick up the robot and just for a brief time might take him home. And with Hitchbot having a GPS inserted into him, everybody online could see where he was. So the team sometimes had to even turn off the tracker because if somebody had Hitchbot in their house, people would turn up to the house to see if they could meet Hitchbot. We've got ourselves a local celebrity here, folks. Guys, leave him alone. He just wants to eat his batteries in peace. And he doesn't want to be disturbed by the locals, or that really angry looking dog in the background. I bet you're waiting for me to say something went horribly wrong. Well, on his trip across Canada, he made it. On the 21st of August 2014, he managed to make it all the way to British Columbia from Nova Scotia. That's pretty damn far, over 2,800 miles. The project was so successful, in fact, a second version of Hitchbot was made and they did a similar journey across Germany from one side to the other. This took Hitchbot 10 days, and then for a further 3 weeks afterwards, he took his course up to the Netherlands and had a nice little hitch around there too. This is all nice and lovely, with people coming out and helping Hitchbot out, getting him to explore around the country and just having a grand old time. This truly shows that humans can find a place in their hearts to help out a robot friend in need. And well and truly, together, we can make a little robot's dreams come true. That was until he did a hitchhiking trip across the United States of America. This was his biggest journey yet. Starting in Boston on the 17th of July 2015, he was aiming for San Francisco. This would be the biggest trip to date, and with over 3,000 miles to get there, he would have to rely on the help of friendly strangers to help him achieve his ambitions, much like he had done on his 2 previous occasions. No, I wasn't joking when I talked about the robot having dreams and ambitions. At the time of his trip across the US, he had a Twitter account, and on there he posted frequent updates about his journey. And on there as well, he had a bucket list of things he wanted to do whilst he was going along his journey, which for any tourist sounds like pretty standard things. Things like seeing the lights in Times Square and participating in a Mexican wave at a sports game, which of course he did. Everyone was loving the journey for Hitchbot, and people were keeping track of him as he was going on his journey. That was until the 1st of August 2015, where Hitchbot arrived in Philadelphia, and things went quiet for a brief time. So what happened? Why has nobody heard from our little friend for quite some time? Well, nothing was heard for some time until this tweet came out on his official Twitter account, which read as follows. "Oh dear, my body was damaged, but I live on with all my friends. Sometimes bad things happen to good robots. Hashtag Hitchbot in USA." What? What the hell happened? Is he okay? Well, things would transpire very quickly as to the fate of our little friend. He was murdered. Someone in Philadelphia had decapitated our little buddy and left him in a ditch. Such a tragic end for Hitchbot. As you might imagine, this was the end of the road, and a final tweet was sent out later that day from his Twitter saying the following. "My trip must come to an end for now, but my love for humans will never fade. Thanks, friends." Oh, I feel so terrible. Terrible for us as humans to be able to do something like this, and for him to trust people all the way until he got to Philadelphia. This is why we can't have nice things, people. Initially, people had no idea what happened, but it soon surfaced that this was an act of vandalism after Hitchbot's remains were found by a Good Samaritan. We can see on our data that the tablet and battery and everything shot off at the same time, so it must have been when they vandalised the bot. They sent us images and it's really beyond repair. There's not a single wire inside and all the things are broken. So, after cold-blooded murder, you can actually go still visit Hitchbot, as he's now based in the Canada Science and Technology Museum. So, if you want to go pay your respects to our little boy, you can go say hi. Although this was a social experiment to see if humans and robots could trust each other, I'm pretty sure we have our answer now. And this just leaves us with one more question. Who ended Hitchbot? Well, I don't have the answers here. But the only thing I will say is hashtag justice for Hitchbot. If you like the video, be sure to like and subscribe. If you want to be notified as soon as I upload my next video, be sure to hit the bell button. And if you've got any ideas for what topics you'd like me to discuss next, let me know down in the comments below. As always, sources used in the video will be in the description. So, the outcome of this whole thing should give you some good lessons to take away from this. 3 lessons in fact, especially when it comes to hitchhiking. 1. Make sure you're doing it safely. 2. Preferably go with someone else to make sure that you're safe. And 3. Don't go to Philadelphia. I'll see you guys in the next video. Fantastic.
Thank you.